We are live in Lansing tonight, where President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is expected to speak in about an hour.
Plus, we're giving this whole saga some perspective. Why Giuliani's appearance and the Senate hearing is really all just for show.
We start with News 8's Lindsay McComal, who is live in Lansing tonight.
And Lindsay, you sifted through hours of hearings yesterday, but today looking a little different.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Brian and Stu. We'll be hearing directly from Rudy Giuliani during the hearing this evening in front of the House Oversight Committee. And I do want to show you the very sizable crowd that has gathered outside of the Anderson building. This is kitty corner, for perspective, kitty corner from the Capitol building here in downtown Lansing. And these are folks who want to get inside for this hearing. The doors are supposed to open up at 5 o'clock so that they can get inside and also be listening in on what the former mayor has to say, and now current attorney for President Donald Trump. He did lay out some of what we expect to hear during his testimony during what was called a press briefing just about 45 minutes ago. I do want to share a portion of what he had to say.
Very nice to be in Michigan, a state that I've been in many times, really enjoy. Remember how we won it 4 years ago. And from the investigation that I've done, it's a state that we won again. And unfortunately and tragically, we're living through, I believe, the worst voter fraud scandal in the history of our country.
Now, he reiterated a lot of the allegations that we heard during yesterday's hearing over with the Senate Oversight Committee from those who were inside the TCF Center. That's what acted as the city of Detroit's absentee voter counting board, saying that there was a dump in the middle of the night, that ballots were being run through the tabulators multiple times, resulting in multiple counts, even though it was only one ballot. That is something we will be keeping a close eye on in terms of what he has to say during his testimony this evening. I did also touch base with Representative Matt Hall from Marshall, who's the chair of the House Oversight Committee. He says he's been getting a little bit of pushback for inviting Giuliani here to give this testimony, but as he put it to me, this puts him directly in front of legislators who have been inundated with messages and emails from constituents who frankly just do not believe that Joe Biden won the presidency in Michigan, and what better way to get to the bottom of it than have him sitting in front of legislators who can directly ask him questions, ask him for the evidence. During the briefing, in which he didn't take any questions from reporters, he said that the affidavits that have been filed are the evidence, and that's what he's resting. It seems as though, based on what he said about 45 minutes ago, that's what he's resting this on. So we'll see what he says at 6 o'clock. That is slated to begin in about an hour or so. We'll be monitoring that and have the very latest throughout the evening. Reporting live in Lansing, Lindsay McComal, News 8.
Certainly a lot of people interested in hearing what he has to say tonight. Lindsay, thank you for the live report from Lansing.
In our team coverage continuing now with political reporter Rick Alvin live from home tonight. And Rick, Rudy, the Senate Oversight hearing, is this just a lot of posturing here? Give us a little perspective on what this is all about.
Look, I'm going to put this in silos for you. Is there a good reason to have a conversation about elections and the way elections are held? I think almost any time is. If you can improve them, that's great. If that's the purpose, that's this silo, and it's good. If this is a question about wrongdoing in this election, a hearing like this is not going to advance it. You need to take that evidence, if you have hard evidence, and take it to court. That's that silo. And finally, if your interest is truly in overturning the election, then this conversation, again, is not necessarily going to be helpful in this Senate hearing. Think about this for a minute. In order for President Trump to be victorious, he would have to pick up 38 electoral votes. That's Michigan, Pennsylvania, and something else. That's Michigan, Georgia, and something else. That's Michigan, Wisconsin, and something else. The numbers just aren't there. And finally, when you think about what we were doing 4 years ago, I was waiting on a judge to decide if Green Party candidate Jill Stein was going to get a recount. At that point, we knew that was a long shot, but she got it. It was shut down a few days later. And I asked some of her representatives, I said, is it your intent? Do you believe you can overturn this election? And they said, No, we just want to test the integrity of the ballot. Well, the point is here, what is the purpose of this conversation? If you're not going to be able to overturn the election, if you can't take your case to court, and we've seen those cases go nowhere, then there really isn't a point in those two areas. So then is this truly about the integrity of the election? And from what I just heard from the former mayor, it did not sound like that is what this is about. But look, on December 14th, the electors from Michigan are going to cast their vote for Joe Biden. They've been selected, and they cannot be faithless in the state of Michigan. It would take a major upheaval for that to change, Brian and Sue.
Yeah, and state senators have already telegraphed that sentiment exactly. Rick, thank you. The Secretary of State also releasing numbers today showing how many absentee ballots were rejected in November. A total of 15,302 were rejected. That accounts for about half of a percentage point of all absentee ballots received. Here are the main reasons that those ballots were rejected. The biggest issue, more than 4,000 votes, were because voters moved before Election Day. 3,400 were rejected because someone voted while they were alive but died before Election Day. Another 3,300 weren't counted because they arrived after the polls had closed. You can see some of the other reasons included either no signature or a signature that didn't match, and 85 people who just sent in an empty envelope.